ever notice how life is messy? Things go wrong, things happen, stuff just happens in life. And life makes life messy. One of the areas life is really messy is in our relationships. God created us as social beings. He made us, He formed us, He breathed on our nostrils a breath of life. And then He calls us to be in relationship with others. He says it's not good to be alone. He inspired Solomon to talk about, hey, two are better than one. We need others. We're social human beings and we need others, and those relationships are messy. Friendship is messy. We're going to spend the next few weeks on Sundays talking about friendship and building some relationships. I just want to kind of preface that with, it's hard to be in relationship with others. It's messy, but it's worth it. One of the stories in the Bible that impresses me is Paul. You know, Paul's that great church planner, one of the number one guys, wrote most of the New Testament. You know, he struggled in his relationships. You know, Paul was one pursuing Christians, trying to eliminate Christians. He was a good Jewish boy, a good Pharisee, and the Christians were kind of on the opposite side, and he wanted to pursue them, so he's out trying to do that, but he has a conversion experience. God confronts him on the Damascus Road, and he becomes a believer. But after becoming a believer, the church wasn't sure what to do with him. Many of the people were still afraid of him. He had really no friends. So he kind of went back to his hometown and started hanging around there, until a guy named Barnabas, name means encourager, decided, Paul's the one we need right now. Paul's one that can help us plant churches. And so he heads out to meet Paul, and he enlists Paul to go with him. And so him and Paul build this friendship, and they go out planting churches all over Galatia. And they come back to Jerusalem to give a report, tell them all the good things that God had done. And they're excited about going out again. Here's this friendship and this bond that they had built, and they decide to go out again. But something happened, and it says they had a difficult time. They had a broken relationship. Something went wrong. See, Barnabas wanted to take John Mark. John Mark went with him on the first trip, at least for a little while, and he bailed out. Paul and his enthusiasm, you know, you just can't do that. I need somebody I can count on, depend on. So Paul says, no, we can't take Mark. So they had this dispute, is what it says in the scriptures. But they parted as friends because Paul says, I'm going to take Silas and I'll go over here. You take John Mark and you go over here, and we'll just see what God does. And so they parted as friends, but it was tough. It was a difficult relationship. They always were friends, but it was a challenge, and there were some struggles. Then there was just John Mark, and they had all that stuff going on, and we know who Mark becomes. He's the writer of the Gospel of Mark. But later on in Paul's life, Paul writes this. I think this is important to note. Only Luke has stayed with me. Mark can be very helpful to me. So please find him and bring him with you. Somewhere along the line, Paul reached back out to John Mark and found a relationship with him. Relationships are messy. It's hard. You have to work at it. You have to strive for it. We're going to talk about that for a few weeks. And I just want to encourage you today. I want you to know it's worth it. It's worth the mess to build those relationships, to have those friends. Things are going to be said. Things are going to happen. But God is always there. I like our author of the book that we're kind of going along with. It says this: I will disappoint you. You will disappoint me. God will never disappoint us. Relationships are messy, but they're worth it. So I want to encourage you. Sometimes there's forgiveness, or we need it. Sometimes there's patience. We need it. It's just building relationships. I want to end with this. Be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing one another in love. I just want you to know those relationships you have, or the ones you need to build, or who do you need to reach out to, are important. Reach out. Build a relationship. It's worth the mess. God bless you. I love you. God does. And we're going to have a great time together. I'll see you Sunday in line, in person, wherever you're at. Let's have fun together. Let's build some great relationships based on God's love. He loves us. We love one another. God bless you. See you Sunday.